Hi, I'm Mark in my series of videos for online reselling. Just a few months ago I did a video about being so enthusiastic about listing and selling on Amazon. Like a politician, I'm flipping and backpedaling quite a bit. Amazon does have its place. Among other things, it's for packaged parts. If you go out and find something, like I often do, that's somewhat valuable to someone, as I may have mentioned last time. I keep finding these ceiling fan remotes. People will have trouble finding at their local convenience store. And if you could get them for $2, you could easily sell them for $30. They're going to take up space at your house. You can get more revenue for small items on Amazon in some cases than you can eBay. Nobody really knows why. Some items you can, some items you can't. Also, they're very quick to list. I have an example today that I hope we can list here in person in real time. I was out at a Goodwill and I found this item, which a lot of people would think is a complete piece of crap. It's butterfly cake pan. Not something everybody needs, and I'm sure it'll be a slow seller. However, the name Nordic Ware, made in the USA, a couple things struck me about that. I might, somewhere back in the depths of my mind, know that Nordic Ware is a good brand, made in the USA is a good brand, and this is not a cheap pan. So I scanned it with the seller app, as I'm hopefully going to do again, at the store. And what you do is, that's going to read the barcode on there if it's light enough in here, and hopefully it does. Okay, it's captured it already. And I see that that Nordic Ware butterfly muffin pan, the lowest one is $28.50. So being into this, I think for $2 or less than $2, seeing that it's new in every way, shape, or form, because this thing, it cannot slide out from this thing. That's how I know somebody did not put it back on there. Now, I've wasted a lot of time talking. I can sell, and a little page is going to come up, hopefully, on the Wi-Fi. And condition, I'll put new. And there's no real need to do a condition note if it's new. Quantity, 1. Now, this is where things get a little screwy. Lowest price for new, actually, is $47.99. What I was looking at before was lowest price for new and used. So even used, some joker's trying to get 29 bucks for this thing, which might be a little outrageous. So new, the lowest price that is the buy box, and you could look in to see what that is $47.99. But when I scanned this, it came up with an orange tab that's slow moving ASIN, which basically means this is a very slow moving part on Amazon. It might take a year or more. I'm into it for $2, but I don't want to sit on it until I'm 50. So what I'm going to do, with the lowest being $47.99, I'm going to go ahead and put 39, and I like oddball amounts, so I'm going to put 39.87. And Amazon is famous for oddball amounts because it's the race to the bottom. You're trying to have the lower price than the other person does. So I'm going to get a shipping credit of $5.49. This may cost a little more to ship than that, and I'll bet you Amazon's going to take $8. So my incoming money is going to be probably like $31.50 plus 6, $37. It might cost $6.50 to ship, so that leaves me with a profit of $30 on something that cost me $2. That's a 15x. All these jokers that claim they're going to sell a Christmas sweater for 80 bucks that they bought $1, this is real. I can show you. You can look up this listing after I'm done with it. Continue. And I've taken a lot of time talking here. Continue. I don't know if I pressed that or not. Review and submit your listing. Submit your listing. Yes, congratulations, your listing has gone through. So that's the amount of time it takes to do an Amazon listing. Maybe 2 minutes and 50 seconds, and I talked about 2 minutes and 20 seconds of that. That's a new item. eBay, how freaking long would it take to list this stupid butterfly cake pan and you'd get a lot less for it? 15 minutes taking pictures, either if you're old school, putting the SD card into the computer or uploading them through Dropbox. Pain in the ass on items like that. That might sit for a while on Amazon. If it doesn't work after 2 years, there's no listing fee, I could donate it. So some of the other stuff we're going to go over today, I went over the quick list, is the light is in my face, forgive me. Oh, something you can buy a lot of and you're into it for very little money. That would be something you put on Amazon maybe. There was a video by Craigslist Hunter, who is great. He bought a whole bunch of these like surgical scissors that he was into, I don't know, say 500 or 1,000 of them for whatever, 20, 40, 80 bucks. And he listed them in packs of 5, 10, 2. And he just threw them in bubble mailers and he still was able to make a profit. Pain in the ass, yes, but if you can get a lot of something and mark it up still quite a bit, it's worth doing. I'm not one of these people that goes into Walmart and buys a bunch of chili mix for 20 cents and wants to sell it for $1. Complete waste of time. And I've seen people do that this week. The other thing about Amazon that's great, I looked tonight and there was an 8-pack of Polaroid VHS tapes. They weren't like great or special or anything like that. Okay, an amateur seller like me, I looked up to see how many reviews the person had, and he only had 4 reviews, so he's been on Amazon 8 months, 9 months, and he's not a professional warehouse where he's got 10 people working for him. Was selling that for 27. He could find that at a tag sale for 2, 3, 4, 5 bucks. Decent profit, 5 to 27. There's no photographing, there's no describing. With that 8-pack of VHS, you just scan and list like I did in 1 minute and 20 seconds. And it'll sell more on Amazon than it will on eBay. Other advantages when we're going into this thing, there's room for Amazon, is there's no listing fees. So if you have items like this that are commodities, why let it go on eBay where you're paying 30 cents every month unless you have a store? Complete waste of your time. One of the last things where Amazon has a place is better search criteria. On eBay, for example, on this item I just listed, if I put Nido butterfly cake pan, look, like so many of those jokers did for 10 or 15 years, and up until recently, I don't know if they banned it by now. Those people should be thrown in a bag and off a bridge someplace. What is look? On Amazon, someone would put Armorware or whatever cake pan and find them all by either UPC or SKU. So on Amazon, I think it's a little better search system than what they allow people to do on eBay. Now we're going to go over some of the negatives about Amazon. Some of these are huge. On Amazon, there is a race to the bottom. There's always somebody that has more of something than you do who has bought it for less, so they can afford to sell it for less. Let's keep that in mind. On eBay, you have, or you can sell a 1968 Topps Nolan Ryan, and I think Jerry Koosman is the other player on this card, PSA 8 mint condition card. And the supply or the demand for that card is going to equal the supply. We're not just talking some stupid book on Amazon. That card is a very rare card. It's crazy if you have that and you'd want to put it on eBay because people can bid it up and up. Tonight I saw a PSA 8 selling for $3,000 something. That's 2 grades down. What I'm saying is if you have something really special, it's got to go on eBay. If you have a ton of Rachel Ray cookbooks that you've gotten 1,000 of for 20 cents, you put them on Amazon. That's the clear difference here. Buyers that I have dealt with over 20 years on eBay, I have rarely sold stuff that people would rip me off on. When I'm selling, I don't sell like hot electronics or a lot of iPhones or even current items. I sell vintage collectibles, military stuff, and one-of-a-kind items, say a collection of photographs of a particular actress from the 1940s. No one's going to rip me off on that stuff. Amazon, people have you completely hostage, okay? What I mean by that is I sold a small kitchen appliance in August, and it was, let's call it a popcorn machine, the example I wrote down on my script here. It was new old stock. It wasn't right from Walmart, but it was sealed in the box. So I sold it in August, and I get an email, like a return request in December, even though it's way past my return date of 30 days. Okay. I emailed the customer, who is now way past being a customer because the sale is completed, and I said I cannot have an unlimited return on kitchen appliances. I can't do that. Somebody could send it back 6 months later. And I called Amazon, and I was told that I was in the right. It was way past my return date, and that if he filed what's called an A to Z claim, which is basically like the customer digging in the trench with his rifle like World War I and saying, I'm not going to move, that they thought I was going to win the A to Z claim. And I said on the phone, well, what if he leaves bad feedback? I was told, we'll remove the bad feedback. This is not how things happened. He filed the A to Z claim, and I needed to fight a little bit there. He lost the A to Z claim by me calling them and saying, this is past my return date. He lost that. He left feedback for me, and it was bad. And at one point, I guess it was during the A to Z claim, he said that I had tricked him, and I sold him a 37-year-old popcorn maker. Now, knowing what we know, if that was the case, it would have pictures of people like on the front, like Florence Henderson from the Brady Bunch with the big beehive hairdo. It was relatively modern packaging. It was not 37 years old. So they would not remove, eventually, the bad feedback. They said the only way that they could remove the bad feedback is threatening and bad language. So I proceeded to ask the U.S. representative that if this guy had said that this item was possessed by a ghost from the Salem witch trials, if the feedback would have to be removed. The guy was a smartass with me. Nope, he would be in the right to say that. When dealing on Amazon, that's what you're dealing with. Absolute stubbornness that is on the part of the buyer, not the seller. So in that situation, even though I had been selling on Amazon for a year or more, I only had a handful, 3, 4, 5 of these reviews or feedbacks, or whatever they're called. This is sometime going into Christmas. If 1/4 of my reviews were negative, I'd have like a 75%. People would not buy the other things from me, which would lead to me not selling anything, and it'd be a downward spiral, me holding on to my inventory. I needed to call 32 times to Amazon, a lot of that time to overseas call centers, and I think it was on the 33rd call that I talked to a U.S. call center, and in 20 minutes I was able to get through and get that removed. So it is very difficult to deal with that respect on Amazon. Even though I'm kind of shooting from the hip tonight, I hope there was a little bit you learned as to the differences of eBay. Again, you're taking pictures, you're describing, you're typing out paragraphs, a lot of work. And Amazon, where you saw me list something, I may never sell, but I've got $2 in it. And eBay for the big-time collectibles that are worth thousands, and Amazon for the Rachel Ray cookbooks that you've gotten 1,000 of for 20 cents. And hopefully I'll be posting another video, but I'm going to backpedal on that previous video where I thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Thank you, and we'll see you next time on Mark's Tips and Tricks.